Hi everyone. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start Act 2. And so we didn't get quite so far with the prologue yesterday. So if you'll open up your books to 27, we're going to tackle that prologue here. So first thing that we're going to do is remind ourselves that the chorus is just a general person that's going to give us a background information. And they use the idea of a sonnet. So, now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir. So the old desire that's died is his love for Rosalind, and now he has a new love. And gaping means to kind of like the aruga, like you really like him, so like her, and that's Juliet. That fair for which love groaned for and would die, will tender Juliet matched is now not fair. So he compared the love to Juliet, and it doesn't even come close now. His love for Juliet far surpasses that love that he just groaned for 12 hours earlier. Now Romeo is beloved and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks. But to his foe supposed he must complain, and she still loves sweet bait from fearful hooks. So these 4 lines are basically saying he's loved and he loves again, and the chorus is kind of questioning, does he really like her, or is it just about the looks? But it says that she's betwixt two by the charm of his looks. So that's kind of the age-old question. Are these 2 kids in love, or are they just really infatuated because they're both good-looking people? To breathe such vows as lovers used to swear, and she as much in love, her means much less to meet her new beloved anywhere. Okay? They're enemies, but they'll never be together, but she loves them anyway. But passion lends them power, time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet. Let's take a look at those last 2 lines. But passion lends them power. It means love will find a way. Tempering extremities with extreme sweet means that they're going to have great challenges as well as great pleasures. Okay? So that was what I had hoped to get to at the end of class yesterday. So some people say that maybe the chorus should be, eliminated. But I always think that it kind of refocuses us on what the play is about. Okay? So, is Juliet as much in love as Romeo? I want you to prove it at your tables. So I'm going to have Mr. Van Briesen stop it right now, or pause it right now, and you guys talk about, is she as much in love as Romeo using the prologue? Okay? I think she is, because it talks about the vows that they're going to swear. It says she as much in love, so I think she is. Now, when we're talking about alliteration here, remember alliteration is, I don't know why that didn't pop up, so we're going to give this a shot here. Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant at the beginning of words. Okay? So let's look at line 1. Okay? We've got, desire, doth, death, bed. Okay? Can you find any other examples of alliteration in this prologue? I think there's a couple of places here, so you can see some S's in a couple lines. She still loves sweet bait. And then there's P a little bit further down. When she talks about power and passion. Now, they're not right back to back with each other, but they're really close, and obviously Shakespeare was kind of using them for the sound. Okay? So, we are going to be talking about Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? And that's a famous line, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Here's another one, but soft. What light through yonder window breaks? Wink. It is the east, and the shine off his dome from the sun. Okay? So at your tables, what I want you to do is I want you to answer the questions over Act 2, Scene 1. Mr. Van Briesen, you're going to need to have to hand out the worksheet to 8th hour because they did not get it yesterday. Oops. Not sure what I did there. Okay, found it. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of words here. Some of them I took off, like I took this one off here. But we're going to talk about the idea of an analogy. An analogy is a comparison between two things that are very dissimilar. And Romeo is going to constantly compare Juliet to the sun. She's going to be compared to, I'm just going to type it here, an angel, the stars, a jewel. He called her when they first met a saint. So she gets all of these. So analogy is just a kind of a fancy word for a metaphor, but an analogy is that you really want to kind of take a look at all the different ways that the word can, the two things can kind of mean each other. No, I've said that wrong. How the two words can relate to each other, how they compare and how they contrast. All right. So what we're going to do here is I would like you, for those questions, instead of going home after the dance, where did Romeo go? Well, where did my thing go? Oh, there it is. So he climbs the garden wall. It talks about at the very beginning, it says, turn back, can I go forward when my heart is here? He's so in love with her, he can't be without her, and so he jumps the wall. So in your book, in Mercutio, it's kind of like they see him, but remember, they're thinking that he's still in love with Rosalind. And so Benvolio says, he ran this way and left the orchard wall. Call good Mercutio. And so Mercutio starts calling him all those names. Romeo, humors, madman, passion, lover, and he starts calling him all kinds of names. And then you'll notice that he has all of these, this kind of long lines. And it even says in here, I conjure thee by Rosalind's bright eyes, by her high forehead. And so he's thinking that Romeo is very much smitten with Rosalind. And then there's a lot in Mercutio's speech that's very inappropriate. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I'm kind of glad I'm not here today to tell you all of the sexual parts and the sexual jokes that are in there. If you go back and you can look at them and maybe figure them out yourself. But Benvolio warns Mercutio that Romeo's going to be mad if he hears him because it's very crude and it's very rude. And then I need you to find the line that says, if love be blind. Okay, so Benvolio says, come, he hath hid himself among the trees to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark. So Benvolio's like, leave him alone, and because Rosalind is a Capulet, it's better that all this takes place in the dark. Especially because they're kind of talking about maybe that Romeo is going to have a tryst or go and have sex with Rosalind. But Mercutio responds with, if love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. If you're too concerned with love, you're going to miss out on the opportunity to have sex. That's what Mercutio is basically saying. He says, now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistress were that kind of fruit as maids called medlars. And I don't know what your book says, but a medlar is like an apple fruit, and that is always related to women's parts, so to speak. When they laugh alone, oh Romeo, that she were an open arse, thou a poppin' pear. Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. And so he basically is saying love is blind, and it's not going to reach the intended target, and no matter what Romeo wants, he is going to, no matter what Romeo, he's never going to have that relationship with Rosalind. Okay? So what we're going to do right now is that Mr. Van Briesen is going to hand out to you Romeo and Juliet's Soliloquy, sorry. I'm trying to find where it is. This famous balcony scene, that it is, where he talks to her. So we're going to talk about the difference between a soliloquy and a monologue here. So before we do that, how about you grab, whoops, wrong thing. There it is. So would you please grab your, to the front of your notes. So a soliloquy is when the character is basically alone on stage and is having kind of a think aloud. Just, we can't read their thoughts, so they're sharing their thoughts. A monologue is a long speech that's basically, they just have a long speech. There could be other people on stage, like, so you'll notice on my notes that it says it's not necessarily alone. Okay? And then an aside, we've already had an aside with Gregory and Samson. This is on your other notes, so it's not repeated there, but an aside is just kind of like one line. It's a passage that's intended to be heard by the audience, but not by the other people on the play, and it's usually a shorter line. So what I'm going to have Mr. Van Briesen do is I'm going to have him hand out the graphic novel, and we are going to take this quite slowly because this is the most famous speech of the play. And you guys need to separate yourselves. You guys can go anywhere you want in the room, and somebody be Romeo, somebody be Juliet, and try to read through it. And then tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to work on what is called paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is what trying to put it line by line, not translating, but trying to take the lines and put them in our own words. Okay? I hope I covered everything. Sometimes it's 11:40 right now, so I'm not sure if I'm thinking too straight, but hopefully that will keep us on track so that we can finish the play. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday.